our President and CEO, Doris Vaught. We are celebrating 10 years of Lifewell, and she's going to kick things off this morning for us. So, Doris, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to Lifewell's 10-year anniversary celebration. We're super excited that you're able to join us today. We appreciate it very much. We have an exciting time planned for you this morning. We would never have envisioned a virtual celebration for this event, but as you all know, COVID has changed many things. We would much rather see you in person, and we welcome you to schedule an individual tour to visit our clinics and offices as soon as you feel comfortable doing so. A big thank you to all of our Lifewell team members for your dedication and service to your clients and the community during this time and always. The job we do is rarely easy, but often rewarding. Most of you have heard about Lifewell, but you may not know of all the different services we provide. This morning, you'll get a chance to meet Nicole, Shayna, Dan, and Amber, our clinical leaders, pillars of support, and their behind-the-scenes heroes. They will share some information and highlights with you about their programs. And in the spirit of fun and celebrating, we're also going to play a little Lifewell trivia. So, for example, did you know that Lifewell has 55 team members who've been with us since before Lifewell was Lifewell? Philip Havatone has worked for us for more than 30 years, and Lifewell provides housing for more than 300 people, and we serve about 15,000 clients each year. Most importantly, we also have two very personal and touching stories from John and Amy, who wanted to share their amazing journeys of recovery with you. Stories like theirs are what keep us motivated to do the work we do. I was moved and inspired by the honesty and courage of both of these individuals, and I think you will be too. So on behalf of the Lifewell Board of Directors and Lifewell team members, we hope you enjoy our celebration today. I would now like to introduce you to Lifewell's voice of reason, calm and compassion, no matter what the situation. And that is Nicole Herring, our Executive Vice President and Chief Clinical Officer.
Thank you, Doris. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, and I want to thank each of you for sharing in our celebration. I'm not sure if everyone here is familiar with the story of how Lifewell came to be, so I thought I would spend a moment sharing the history. In 2011, New Arizona Family, known as NAFI, and Triple R Behavioral Health merged to create Lifewell. Together, we had 84 years of collective experience and brought roughly 50 service locations together to provide a wide continuum of care to the seriously mentally ill and general mental health substance use populations in Maricopa County. With the merge, Lifewell's service delivery expanded to include women's substance use residential treatment and SMI residential services, counseling, psychiatric care, medication management, rehab services, community living, housing, and property management. Over the years, we continue to grow, and in 2015, we welcomed 3 direct care clinics, again expanding our array of services to include SMI case management. Today, we have a total of 4 direct care clinics in the Lifewell family and also provide physical health services. And we have partnered with general pharmacies at 3 of our direct care clinic locations. Over the past 10 years, all of my most memorable moments include hearing about the outstanding work done by our team members and sharing client success stories. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the Lifewell team for their commitment in helping individuals manage their conditions, overcome challenges, and lead meaningful, productive lives. In a few minutes, we will hear about some of these heartwarming and inspirational stories. Before I end, I would like to take a moment to share my sincere gratitude to the Lifewell clinical teams, including the senior directors. Amber Hoke, Senior Director of Outpatient and Rehab Services, has been with Lifewell for 20 years. Amber is the official Lifewell proofreader and human spell checker. She is dedicated to her work, extremely detail-oriented, and cares deeply for her clients and team members. Dan Wheeler, Senior Director of Residential and Community Living, has been with Lifewell for 16 years. Dan is always ready and willing to help with new projects. He's been known to work endless hours and is dedicated to providing excellent client care. Last but not least, we have Shana Hanley, Senior Director of Direct Care Clinics, also with an impressive 16 years with the agency. Shana is passionate about her work and being supportive to her team. The level of dedication, organization, and reliability she displays continues to amaze me. Thank you, Dan, Amber, and Shana, for your dedication to Lifewell, your teams, and clients. Together, you have faced challenges, overcome obstacles, celebrated successes, and achieved many goals. You and your team's exemplary commitment over the years has been key to the success of our client, staff, and agency. I cannot emphasize how appreciative I am for the Lifewell team's contribution to our success. I look forward to what the future will bring as we continue to help individuals in need through our work.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's time for our first trivia question. We're going to keep things pretty easy here to start off with. Here's a great way you can participate. We're going to launch this question via the Zoom polls feature. You'll have a multiple choice set of questions, or set of answers rather, to the question. So we'll go ahead and launch that. First question, which name for Lifewell has not been used in our history? So here are your choices: Arizona Family, New Arizona Family, Triple R, or AAA. Which name is not part of our legacy? We'll give you a few moments to guess and put your thinking caps on a little bit. And when we see that kind of leveling out, we'll go ahead and share the results. So I will do that right now. Looks like most of you chose AAA as the answer, and you're right. AAA is not part of our legacy, but all of those other names are. Lifewell merged in 2011, and different organizations came together, and that's what you see here represented. So thank you so much, everybody. We're going to move on to our next part of the celebration here. Oops. So let me set this up a little bit before we get to our video. Back in 2011, one of our first clients came through Lifewell's program for addiction, and his name is John. John is going to share his story with you, and we'll do that now. Thanks for your patience, everyone. We're going to get to John. He has an amazing story, and we're excited to share it. Here we go.
My name's John, and I'm an alcoholic, and I also did a lot of drugs, so I'm a drug addict as well. I have 10 years this month of sobriety, and that was after going to Lifewell back in 2011. So in October of 2011, someone gave me a business card from Lifewell that worked there, and she was very adamant. She said, "John, you're killing yourself. You should call this number." And I was like, okay. Well, I didn't give them a call, and I didn't give them a call, and every time she saw me, she would ask me, "Why didn't you call?" And I was like, I don't have any insurance. She said, "Well, we have a grant program, so we can get you in without insurance." I was like, okay, there goes that excuse. So I go to jail, and I get out of jail on the 7th, Friday the 7th, and I proceed to get high at home, and the phone rings, and it's the probation department, and they're like, "We see you just got arrested. What's going on?" I said, "I'm on the other line with the treatment center, please. I'll call you back. And she was like, no, go. It's a good thing. It sounds like you know what you're doing. And so now I was obligated to call. Now I had to call because I painted myself into a corner. But it was a good thing because I did call and they told me, can we get you down here on Monday? I was like, no, I've got to go to court on Monday, which was true. And they said, can we get you down here on Tuesday? I was like, I've got court in Casa Grande on Tuesday. They said, well, we can't hold the bed past 3 o'clock on Tuesday. And I said, well, I'll be there at 3 o'clock. And so I pulled up at 3 o'clock right over here on Coolidge, and they accepted me. And actually, I told my girlfriend to take my picture. I took a couple pictures before I went in. Now when I see those pictures, I'm shocked and amazed. But it was a good day. I got checked in. They got me acclimated to what the program was, and I was pretty open. To be honest with you, I wanted to be sober. I want something different. I just had no way of getting there from where I was. And what the program did for me, I'm in a facility now and I can get the monkey off my back. So in a few days, I'm open to everything that they are doing, which was, you know, they're bringing up a lot of stressors and how to deal with these stressors without using, and we later in treatment we got into some of the traumas as a child that I went through. My oldest brother was murdered in this disease, and we dealt with it, and I was open to it. So the fact is, the program was very good for me. I enjoyed it. Now, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of people that were not there for the right reasons. They were manipulating, and they were joking and interrupting and being funny, and you have to work through that. I suggest if you're a person that wants to make it in the program, you have to do the work. So there's work to be done. They made us put pencil to paper and get busy, and I was willing to do that. And I didn't let those distractions get in my way. And I stayed there for 3 months. And after 3 months of being at Lifewell, which I might add, they took us to meetings while I was there. So we went to meetings twice a week, Mid-City and another one on 43rd. So when I got out of Lifewell, I plugged into the meetings. I plugged into AA. I got a sponsor. I worked the 12 steps of the AA program with that sponsor. And I continue to call that sponsor to this day. So we just stay in touch. We see each other at the meeting. I sponsor gentlemen all the time. I'm always sponsoring someone. So it's something that was freely given to me. Now I'm freely giving it away. The fact is that I'm willing to put in a little work, and it's not even as hard of work as it was getting and using and staying 2 steps ahead of the law for years. But it's easier than that, so it's not that difficult. The fact is, the longer I'm sober, the easier it gets. I use my higher power, I use my sponsors, my sponsees, and I'll tell you something else that I've learned over these years is this. My disease is always going to be there. It says stuff to me. You know, I can be at work and it can tell me, this guy stole your tool, and you know he has it. So we work with tools. And my disease is trying to get me to pop off at work or something. And I don't buy into it. I say a little prayer, Lord, give me a little strength, help me through this. I find my tool somewhere where I put it. And the fact is, it's my disease. Or to bring it a little closer to home. It's Christmas time. I'm walking around with the grocery cart, and they've got alcohol all throughout the store now. It's not just in the liquor department, and I've never had Gentleman's Jack. What is this Gentleman's Jack? The disease is like, you've never had any of that. Well, I say a little prayer, and I don't keep it to myself. So this is where we make the big mistake. We're supposed to be sober, so we say, how are you, John? Oh, I'm good. Everything's fine. It's all good over here, which it isn't. The fact is, maybe I had a dream last night about shooting dope. I need to take that out of the dark and shed some light on it. The light dispels the darkness and takes power away from it. If I keep it to myself, then yes, I've co-signed it, I've put it in the file cabinet, and it might not be this week, it might not be next week, but sooner or later, my disease pulls that out and says, hey, wait a minute, you kept this to yourself, and then we act on it. This has happened to me over and over throughout my years of using. Bump in my head. How did this happen? How did this happen? Well, I found out. Some of it is because I'm keeping stuff to myself that I need to bring out and shed light on. And that's what I do now. I pray, I share it with my sponsors, sponsees in a meeting, and I get rid of it. I let God take it away. I don't keep it to myself. And so those are some of the tools that I picked up in the program. What I would reiterate to anyone else, it doesn't matter why I came, the PO, the court system, it's the fact that I wanted to stay sober and I continued to work at it. And thank you for letting me share, and with that, I'll pass.
Wow, that's a powerful story from John. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. And he's very humble, but he sponsors many, many people in several AA groups in South Phoenix and shares his story around the community. So we're honored to share his story here today, and it's an honor to really count him as one of our amazing alumni members. He was one of the first Lifewell clients, and each year we serve a lot of people. So with this next trivia question, we're going to give you a chance to guess. We're going to give you a chance to really see if you can decide for yourself, okay, how many people do we serve each year here at Lifewell? I'll go ahead and launch that right now. Someone in the chat did ask if they can give their answer in the chat. We're going to use the polls feature, but if that's not working for you, feel free to drop your answer to this question in the chat. On average, how many clients does Lifewell serve each year? Is it 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, or 20,000? These are all adults all across Maricopa County. We'll give you just a few more moments to answer. Jen, I see you are, you know what's up. She's been listening. There might be some clues dropped to each of these questions throughout the celebration. We're going to go ahead and end this and see what you all came up with. Most of you are guessing 15,000, but a lot of people decided to guess 20,000. The correct answer is 15,000 on average per year that we serve. So good job, everybody. Good answer. So our next video is pretty exciting. We're gonna peel back the curtain a little bit and give you a tour of our Desert Cove Integrated Hub. Now, this is a model that we are really proud of, and a lot of people have moved towards, and that's a hybrid model, bringing together physical health services, mental health services, life skills classes, and Desert Cove is where a lot of this action happens. You'll see where we do culinary skills classes with our clients. You'll see spots where we do group counseling, supported education classes if people are working on their GED. Those are all over in Suite 100 on our general mental health side. But right next door is where people can get a checkup with the doctor, even get some medication at the on-site pharmacy. That's pretty cool. Or meet with the case manager. So we have a couple of great tour guides who are going to walk us through Desert Cove.
Hello, welcome to the Lifewell Desert Cove Clinic. I'm Latricia Carter, the Assistant Director of SMI Clinics.
And I'm Tamiko Hoffman, the Site Administrator here at Desert Cove.
Today, we are going to give you a tour of the clinic and the hub. Come follow us.
Hi, this is the location where we do our check-ins and check-outs for our members when they're coming here for services. Here we have where all the case managers are sitting within their teams providing the services to all of our members. Okay, great. Here we have the Genoa Pharmacy in site in the clinic, so all of our members' needs can be picked up for their medications, and it's available for not only members, it's available for staff as well.
All right, everyone, this is the PCP area. So we're going to show you one of the exam rooms.
This location here is our ACT team. We do have an ACT team here at the clinic with 6 teams currently at the Desert Cove location, and our ACT team provides those services for the assertive clients. Okay, on this side, we have our hub location, which is our outpatient location with Lifewell for the Desert Cove Clinic. We moved here in 2019 and we merged together with our hub clinic. Here currently, this is our kitchen for the culinary for our members. We also on the hub side provide computer classes. This is our computer training location. This is another group room here that we also provide services on the hub side for GED classes. And then here we're on the front, we're in the front office of the hub side location where members can come here and get services that they need too on the hub side.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Thanks, how are you?
Thank you.
Here's also another training room. Teams provide their morning meetings, CAC meetings.
And that's it. Thank you all. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. Bye.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Latricia and Tamiko, for that great tour. Desert Cove is awesome. And I want to bring on our Senior Director of those direct care clinics, Shayna Hanley. How you doing, Shayna? We just saw one of them there in the tour video. And I know that you have a unique role as Senior Director. Can you share with us a little bit about how that program has grown over the past 6 years?
Sure. Thank you for the introduction, Sarah. And I would also like to thank Doris and Nicole for the opportunity to participate in this anniversary celebration for Lifewell. Our direct care clinics serve a population of around 5,000 individuals who are diagnosed with a serious mental illness. And this is across the 4 direct care clinics of Desert Cove, which you just saw in the video, our Oak site, South Mountain site, and Windsor location. The direct care clinics and staff members are ever evolving to meet the unique needs of the clients and adapt to changes that occur either internally or system-wide across the Regional Behavioral Health Authority. So in a way, you could say that the one thing the direct care clinics are used to is change. The direct care clinic program was most recently adapted with the addition of the Desert Cove Clinic and its rollout as a fully integrated service site of SMI, general mental health, substance use, rehab, physical health, and pharmacy services, all available to the clients within one site. The system has evolved tremendously in the last 10 to 15 years, but one of the biggest changes was the departure from the REBAs directly managing SMI clinics and provider agencies taking over instead. Since LifeWell acquired direct care clinics 6 years ago, it has been a significant and welcome change to have a closer tie and connection to a home agency compared to those historical arrangements.
Yeah, and how is it different, you know, settle down into like a home agency versus the previous setup?
It's been a very welcome change. It feels more directly connected to your own agency, and then the support, teamwork, communication, and coordination that occurs on a daily basis across the various LifeWell departments and throughout the agency in the service of our clients is commendable and rewarding on a daily basis.
Shana, what is one of your favorite things about working with the direct care clinics, especially, you know, over your 16 years of experience?
Thank you, Sarah. I know I speak for the majority when I say that the main reason any of us went into this field in the first place is due to a passion to help individuals reach their goals of any size. Working with the direct care clinics has afforded me that opportunity to see goals being attained on almost a daily basis, which is obviously tremendously rewarding. But another favorite aspect has been being able to watch individual staff members grow professionally and also rise within our own agency. A perfect example of this is our own assistant director and one of the stars of the video you just saw, Latricia Carter. Latricia actually started her journey with LifeWell in Dan's program. This was back in 2014 as a clinician one at the TLP location. She then moved to the direct care clinics as a case manager and steadily advanced from there to clinical coordinator, then to site administrator, and now in her current role as our assistant director of the direct care clinics. Throughout that time, she has been a dedicated and valued employee who has truly demonstrated the LifeWell mission. And on a personal note, and having worked directly with Latricia in the majority of those roles, she's been an absolute pleasure to work with and an amazing leader. So I want to thank all of you and all of the staff for the hard work and the dedication throughout the years. And once again, thank you for the opportunity to present.
Thank you, Shana, so much for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, we have another video for you with a story, this time from Amy. Amy is going to share about her experience, and she has actually stuck around with LifeWell, as you'll see in her video.
Hi, my name is Amy Denny, and I am a peer support specialist at the LifeWell Oak Clinic. I would like to take a few minutes to tell you my story of my journey on how I became a peer support specialist. I have struggled with drugs since I was 14 years old. I started doing drugs. I had body image issues, a lot of insecurities as a 14-year-old, and I just felt more comfortable when I was high. And so I just kept using. I was a functional addict for years, was able to hide it, was able to still kind of manage life. And then in college, my third semester of GCC, I found somebody that sold Oxycontins, and I got heavily into opiates. And so I spent all of my 20s in and out of rehab, and I just couldn't get it right. And I was in a really bad car accident in 2010. I was ejected from my vehicle on the 202 in a high-speed crash, and I spent a long time in the hospital. I spent 2 weeks in ICU, a week in the burn unit. When I got out, I went straight back to using. That should have been my wake-up call that I need to change my life, but it wasn't. I just kept using. I had no coping skills, and it was so traumatic. And then a few years after that, the law had caught up with me. I had been pulled over in a stolen vehicle, and I had drugs on me. I went to Tent City for 6 months. At that point, I didn't really want to change my life either. I got out and just started using again. I didn't, at that point, I didn't know how to do anything else but use. I was, that's how my life was every day getting high, because I had no idea how to be a functional, successful person. I had no idea how to do it. And I found out I was pregnant a few months after I got released from Tent City, and I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I kept using. I had a PO because I was on probation, and she told me that you can either have your baby in prison or you can go and have your baby and get help in rehab. So I went at 5.5 months pregnant. I went to Lifewell Site 1, which was amazing. They helped me get clean so I could have my daughter. I really loved the program there. It was so great to be around other women that were either pregnant or had their child with them, and it gave me hope. And I had Addison 9 days after I graduated Site 1. I unfortunately didn't do any IOP programs or any support groups like that Lifewell had recommended that I do, and I didn't do them. So I did relapse 2.5 years after when Addison was 2.5, and things went really fast after that. We lost the condo, the cars, living in hotels with her, and when she was 4, DCS got involved. And they took her when she was 4. I had more trauma than I had with the accident. Having your baby taken is so intense and horrible. And that was the moment I knew, was when we had our first visit. I hadn't seen her in 6 weeks, and I went to detox, and I got out, and I had gotten into a program. And I saw her at a visit, and she came running out of the DCS van with the parent aid and right into my arms. And I knew in that moment that I would never get high again, And so then I went to a program where you could have your child called Weldon House. It's with Arizona Women's Recovery Center. And they are the ones that then referred me to Lifewell Peer Support Training. They said, you can make a living for you and your daughter and get a job helping other people with the same struggles that you've been through. And I was just like, that's amazing, because I was really worried. I'm a 2-time felon, DCS case, like no one's gonna wanna hire me. I haven't worked in 12 years. So I did the training, the 10-week training with Christopher Hockenberry. Thank you, Christopher. He was an amazing instructor. And then I went over to the Mitchell location, and Sharon Drosos was awesome. She sat with me for over 2 hours to help me with my resume. And we applied to Lifewell. There was a position at Oak. I was so nervous, and I went in and had the interview with my clinical coordinator today, Seneca Dixon. Thank you, Seneca, for giving me the opportunity to get back into the workforce so I could make a living for myself and my daughter. I am forever grateful for this, and I love my job. I love going to work. I am doing a really good job. I'm finishing my productivity at 100% every month. And the other night Addison came out in my high heels with my badge on, telling me that she's gonna work for Lifewell too, and it just feels really good today to have my daughter look up to me, and I don't have to worry about where we're gonna sleep. I don't have to worry about how I'm gonna feed her. Like I'm able to be who I always wanted to be today, a mom that can work full time and take care of her kid. And I wouldn't trade anything I've been through. I'm glad that I went through the experiences that I have so that I can help other people today. And it just is, addiction is just really, it affects everybody involved. So if you have a family member or a friend that is struggling with addiction, just don't give up on them. Just know that healing is possible. There are programs out there like Lifewell that can help you and can help you completely transform your life. So if I could just share this with you, that was me when I got arrested 2 years ago. And that's me today. So thank you for listening to my story. Bye.
Wow, I'm going to invite Dan Wheeler, our Senior Director of Community Living and Residential Programs, to share a little bit. Programs Amy was talking about falls under your umbrella, Dan.
Yeah, well, I really don't know how to follow such an amazing story. Congratulations, Amy, on everything you've accomplished.
You know, the program that we see here on the screen where, you know, kids can join with their moms, it's one of the oldest programs we have here. What are some of the changes and things that have grown in it over the past 10 years, Dan?
Yeah, with our women's residential program, there's been a lot of significant changes in the last 10 years to that program. You know, really, I want to kind of focus and highlight one kind of major change that has taken place, which was really geared at individualizing the program. Historically, residential treatment programs had been kind of a one-size-fits-all model to treatment, and we really wanted to take a different approach to it to really have a much greater impact on the women that we were serving in the program. And so we broke it into 3 different phases where we really focused on where they were in their recovery. And so focusing on kind of the early recovery phase of treatment, or the taking action phase, or reintegrating back into the community. And depending on where they were, they would go through a different set of curriculum rather than going through the exact same curriculum that everybody was going through at the exact same time. In order to do that, we were fortunate enough to be able to purchase new, more updated curriculum, as well as more evidence-based curriculum to help support that change and the program. Additionally, along with this change, we made some additions to our nursery program and have recently added to our parenting program, as well as identified designated areas for child visitations and for visitations that are scheduled with the Department of Child Safety.
Wow, that's great. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your programs?
Yeah, you know, I also supervise all of our other residential programs as well as the community living programs. And within all of those programs, we've seen similar changes to what I've described around the curriculum and how we're providing the services over the past 10 years. However, within the community living program, probably the most significant change that we've seen was the implementation of the permanent supportive housing model to the community living placements, and really changing up how those services were delivered, which was a huge transition to that model. And then additionally, more recently, we have gone through a significant change with one of our residential programs where we redesigned the Highland Behavioral Health Residential Facility into Lifewell Healthy Transitions, which was geared at targeting and helping individuals who have been identified as high utilizers to the crisis and hospital systems that are engaged with the Lifewell Direct Care clinics that Shana just previously talked about.
Wow, that's really important to meet the needs of that group. Is there anything that really stands out as something you're proud of during your time here at Lifewell, Dan?
Yeah, you know, thinking back on my time here at Lifewell, there's a lot of different things that I'm proud of. But I think probably the biggest thing that I'm most proud of is the staff that I've had the privilege to work with, and have been able to see the resiliency that they are able to show, and the career development that has occurred for all of them. As I talked about, there were some significant changes that have gone on through the time that I've been here at Lifewell, and specifically in the last 10 years. And those changes aren't easy to make and aren't an easy adjustment for the staff who are out there doing the work day in and day out with the members. But to a person, each and every one of them has bought into the changes and has really looked at adjusting their mindset to being able to do what was in the best interest of each individual in our program. And I think that's just amazing.
It really is. That resiliency is what powers so much of what we do here. Are there any other success stories you'd like to share?
Yeah, I would like to take a minute just to kind of share another success story related to a member that we've served. And so it is an abbreviated version of her story. And this woman is an individual who was in our women's residential substance use facility. And she came to our program at 23 years old after having used substances to cope with abuse and abandonment, as well as having been diagnosed with cancer for several years. She eventually reluctantly agreed to come into our program after her family basically gave her an ultimatum to come to program, otherwise they were going to sever ties with her. After she came in, she has worked the program, she has made progress in her recovery, and is working forward towards moving into the next step of her recovery. But before she left our program, she had provided some feedback to us about her experience. And she had indicated that that she had learned at Lifewell, that there was hope, and she was provided insight on what she was able to achieve in this world. She went on to say that the staff at the women's residential substance use facility go above and beyond to make sure that the program is safe and comfortable, and a great place for them to be able to get the help that they need. And that through this, she has been able to be able to see the person that she came into the program as doesn't have to be the exact same person that she leaves the program. I wanted to share this story with everybody because I felt that it really demonstrated a lot of key components about our service delivery from both the members' perspective as well as their perspective about our staff. And so, like everybody else has said, I really want to thank our staff for all of the work that they do for our members. So thank you, Sarah.
Absolutely. No, thank you, Dan. It's time for another trivia question, and put those thinking caps on once again as we launch our third question here. All right. Who do you all think is the longest serving employee at Lifewell? Is it Philip Havatone, Doris Vaught, Amber Hoke, or Dan Wheeler? Some of them are some familiar faces. We'll give you a few moments.
Sarah, we can't see the question.
Thank you, Doris. It helps if I launch the trivia question, huh? All right, so is it Philip, Doris, Amber, or Dan? We'll give you a few moments, especially since you're just now seeing the question. But I'm curious to see your answers. All right, let's see what you all came up with. It's a little bit more evened out. 59% think Philip is the longest serving employee, but a good 15% of you think our fearless leader, Doris, is. And then 19%, Dan. I think people were just really moved. You sounded so knowledgeable and expert. But no, the answer is Philip. He has served here with LifeWell and one of the organizations that merged with us for 33 years. Can you believe that? I said, hey, Philip, you gotta join us. And he said, I'm out working. So he's not on the call today, but he said he was with us in spirit. So Philip is amazing. Thank you, everybody. So we are going to now bring on our Senior Director of Outpatient and Rehab Services. Amber, you're up.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to be here with you all for this celebration.
Well, thank you for joining us. And we are excited that you are going to share a little bit about what you get to do here. Now, even though you weren't the right answer, you have served at LifeWell for a number of years. In fact, all of our time over the past 10 years, you've been here. So you definitely bring a lot of experience to the table, but I bet you didn't expect the last 18 months to have been in the plans. So how has your team adapted to the pandemic?
Yeah, very true. Thank you for asking. It has certainly been a challenging year and a half, to say the least. I've really been amazed and impressed at how we were able to keep things going in a last minute change where everyone had to go home and learn how to do all of their normal duties over the phone and virtually. The staff and clients adapted so well, and I was really pleasantly surprised at how successful we've been in keeping the clients engaged in the services. We were actually able to do individual and group counseling. We did GED classes, skills groups, peer support training, and employment services, in which we had several clients find employment, and that's just to name a few. Now that we're back in the office and are now, of course, aware of all the options that we have with technology, we're able to do a hybrid model where we're offering for members to, clients to come in person as well as do the services through Zoom still. We actually have in our group rooms, we have Zoom rooms set up where we're running the groups through both Zoom and in person, which is pretty amazing. Never thought we'd be able to do that. Never anticipated it for sure. And because it's been so successful, we've continued a peer support training class through Zoom. And like that amazing story we heard from Amy previously, she actually attended our peer support training class through Zoom. And look at that, that turned out very successful. This has also been especially helpful for clients who may have daycare or transportation issues, offering that option of doing the Zoom.
Oh, I can imagine. It's life-changing.
Yeah.
Are there any special success stories from your program that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, for sure. We, of course, have many success stories in our counseling and rehabilitation services. One I would highlight is a client that actually participates in both. So he has been in our counseling services at our Power Hub for a couple years, and his counselor had referred him for our peer support training class several times because he kept withdrawing out of fear because he was needing accommodations. He's in a wheelchair and he has limited mobility of his arms. And so he didn't have the confidence that he would be able to keep up in the class. So he had withdrawn several times. And after the team kept encouraging him, he finally attended. He also became enrolled with vocational rehab at the time as well. And with assistance, much assistance from the facilitator, he excelled in the class, did very well, and received his certification. So vocational rehab has actually helped him to get a laptop. And they've also gotten Dragon Speak and Spell software for him. And now he's actually working with one of our employment specialists and is looking for a job as a peer support. So to kind of drive home as far as how much this means, this client lives in a group home, and the group home was having him go to a day program. And basically in the day program, he was sitting in his wheelchair all day long doing nothing. And so the staff here have now given him the confidence to know that he's employable, regardless of his limitations. So it's pretty amazing.
That's the kind of win we like to hear. Thank you so much, Amber. Is there something that really stands out to you as something you're proud of during your time here?
Yeah, of course. Like Dan and Shayna both had said, it makes me really proud to see not only success of our clients, but also the journey and growth among the staff throughout the years and their accomplishments. I've seen many staff promote within, and I wanted to take a minute to highlight 2 prime examples of that. Lynette Pina has been with Lifewell for 7 years. She started out as an intake specialist and then moved to a therapist. She got her independent license, promoted to program coordinator, and is now our regional manager of our East Valley hubs. And then Jared Rowland has been with Lifewell for 6 years. He came to us right out of school, started as a therapist, then he moved to, he got his independent license while being a therapist, and then he promoted to a program coordinator, and he is now the regional manager of our West and Central region hubs. So it's truly been a pleasure working with them when they started with Lifewell to now. And like Shayna had said before with Latricia, it's exciting to see their journeys, and it's a testament to their dedication to the clients we serve, whether directly or as leaders.
Absolutely. Go Lynette and Jared. Thank you so much for sharing, Amber. We have one final trivia question for you all. And so I am going to go ahead and launch that final one for you. All right. Which song topped the charts the year Lifewell began providing SMI direct care clinics? Was it 2011's Rolling in the Deep, 2015's Uptown Funk, 2018's God's Plan, or 2020's Blinding Lights? We'll give you just a few moments to cast your vote. This might be one of the hardest questions we've asked today, judging by the votes rolling in. Not many people seem to think we launched last year in 2020, but man, that Blinding Lights, such a catchy song, huh? We're gonna go ahead and end the poll, and I'll share the results. Oh, 2011 got 35%. About half of you thought we did the SMI direct care clinics then in 2015, and then 12% with 2018 and only 2% last year. Well, I have good news for everyone who voted for 2015's Uptown Funk. Yes, that is when we brought in the direct care clinic services. And if you've been listening closely, Shayna did mention that it was 6 years ago. So congratulations to all of you. And I just want to give another thank you to all of our speakers today and folks who shared their stories. I'm going to just hand things off to Doris, and she has a few final thoughts for everyone.
Yeah, thank you again, Sarah. Just a special thank you to all of our funders and our community partners, Access, Mercy Care, the 6 Arizona Complete Healthcare Plans, and there's many others as well. But we truly couldn't do any of this important work without your support. So we truly appreciate your partnership. We're looking forward to staying connected with each of you today. So keep an eye out in your inbox for some extra surprises from us. And we do have one very important speaker who would like to give us some closing remarks. I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Rodrigo Silva, the chair of Lifewell's board of directors. And Rodrigo has been on our board since we became Lifewell, since before we became Lifewell, actually, for many, many years. And he's always there to lend a helping hand, offer support to us, and to help us grow our mission. So we thank you very much for your leadership, Rodrigo.
Thank you, Doris, for that kind introduction. And For all those who participated on this celebration, I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. This is a very important work that LifeWell does for the community and the many, many lives. You saw some examples of the impact that LifeWell has on a few of our clients, but the impact goes beyond that. It's not only to the clients, it's to the families, it's to the staff and the staff families. And the one thing that I know about LifeWell is knows how to flex its muscle, knows how to adjust to the situations, to new circumstances. Through the years in my role as a board member, I have seen so many changes in the way funding is provided, in the way we are required to provide services, and the staff of LifeWell has always responded with kindness, caring attitude, and really exercising professionalism and excellent practice quality. So I'm thankful to all the staff. Thank you for all the hard work you do. I'm thankful to all the board members for the hard work that you put in to make LifeWell what it is. It's one of the shining stars of behavioral health and physical health and substance abuse. So thank you all, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. We're going to leave the chat open for just a little while so you all can participate in that for a few moments. We want to just remind you that we are always here if you need us. Lifewell.us is where we are at online. You can check out our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and we're excited about the things to come. Everyone stay healthy, take care of yourselves as we approach the holidays. We love you all, and thank you so much for joining us today. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah.